Hi, Stitchers.
Hi, I'm Keisha.
I'm Laura, and welcome to the Pattern Queens episode 93. Today is Sunday, July 10th, and this is a channel about cross stitch.
And friendship and rambles and lots of shenanigans. And again, a nighttime video.
And a very tired Keisha.
Oh, yes. We'll just jump right into the life update part of
There you
the
go.
video. We just had my son's second birthday party yesterday, so I am worn out. It was at a play place. I went down slides. I crawled through tunnels. He wants me to do everything with him, which is fine. The lucky part is I'm short, so I didn't really have to duck in many places. And then I had family here this weekend, so I spent most of the day with family and stuff too. So I've got a really tired son, and I'm really tired, and we could all use naps in my house.
So this may be a low energy video.
That's okay. I'm still here.
Yes, we are still here. And thank you all for joining us. We so appreciate you coming to visit with us. We love all the love that we get from your comments and your likes and everything else. Thank you for coming back. If you're coming back, thank you for joining us. If you're new, this time will be a regular Flosstube. And this will be kind of an unusual Flosstube because Keisha is model stitching and I am not. So I have a lot to show and she can only show a little bit right now.
But I do have a couple of things to show, so
yeah.
It's all good.
And my life update, Katie and I have spent the last 2 weeks, I mean, it's been a long time, but we have spent the last 2 weeks really pushing to get everything together because some things were delayed for our latest box to go out. And we have just been running. And by the time we made it to packing day on Thursday, I thought, I don't know how I'm going to pack all these boxes. And thank goodness we had extra help and it worked out fine. And we did great. And the boxes are out and they've already arrived. We've seen a couple of unboxings. We've seen one in-person unboxing.
Yes, and it was great.
And a couple of others. But also, for my birthday last week, one of the things Katie gave me was she purchased a class for me. And it was at one of the local quilt shops. And it was to make project bags. And it was listed as a beginner class. And I make the book sleeves. I have to sew straight lines to make book sleeves. That's it. It's not a lot of piecing or really figuring things out or, and I've done it long enough that it's just routine. I said something in the class because the class is full of all these people that I don't know about, oh, they listed this as a beginner class. And all of the quilting ladies in there laughed.
Oh, no.
So it was a very frustrating day for me, but I did get a bag done.
Oh, that was great.
And this is my back fabric. This is fabric I've wanted to use for a project bag for a while, but it just was really frustrating to me. So I did buy the other pieces of the inside. Okay, I don't know if you can really see it. My inside fabric has line drawings of like bugs and birds and things.
Oh, yeah.
And then, my big fabric back here. So I bought the extra pieces of it and I'm planning to try this again at home and I'll make a slightly bigger bag than this because a full-size pattern will go in here, but I don't really think I could get much else in with it.
Yeah.
So it'll be fine for the smaller size patterns and all the things to go with it. And I made it through the class. And I know how to use a stiletto.
Oh, well.
It's a tool you use to hold the fabric down while you're sewing. So makes it pretty.
My brain went shoe or like the knife.
Neither.
You go to.
It's a very sharp tool. I think sometimes they're called an awl or it's
Okay.
slightly different, but it's similar in purpose to an awl. An awl you would use to poke through and make a hole. And I think you could do that with this stiletto for sure. But what I used it for is, as I was doing the binding, I used it to pull that over while I'm sewing to make sure
Mhm.
that the fabric, that little bitty piece of fabric didn't slide off the edge
Right.
and it stayed up there. So it's like having an extra hand to help hold.
Well, you're very impressive to me, Laura, even if the quilting ladies were like, haha, a beginner class.
Yeah. Well, and they were so lovely. They, nobody was rude or mean to me. The teacher was awesome. It was fabulous, but they were just laughing because it said it was a beginner class. And they're like, and I'm like, well, thank goodness. If the quilting ladies say this isn't a beginner class, then I don't have to feel too silly. So, and other than that, we start another retreat this week. We'll start on Wednesday evening. So we are rushing to the finish to get there and be ready, and so excited to get started. It'll be so much fun. So are you ready to jump into some stitching?
I am.
Did you have any finishes this week?
No.
I
I
hate to
stitched a
ask
lot.
that.
I
Yeah,
stitched a lot, but no finishes.
I hate to ask that. Okay, so I have a finish by default.
Oh,
Okay. So this pattern is Primavera by Satsuma Street,
yes.
and I love it, and it's beautiful. I found that I cannot stand my fabric.
Oh, no.
And it's just a white linen, but it is not a nice white linen. You see, here's my selvage. There's no orange in there. So this is not a Zweigert linen. So I've decided that this is finished, and I will fully finish it into like a little ornament or scissor fob or something like that. And it will be adorable, right?
Yeah.
And then I will go back and pull fabric that I will like and that I will want to stitch. So that's part of the exploration of going through all of my projects this year, is that I figure out, if I'm stuck, how come I'm stuck? What's wrong?
Yeah.
And what's wrong with this is that it's not the right fabric, and it was not fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you found a way to salvage it and finish that little bit, turn it into something, start fresh.
We were in the Stars Hollow, the Summer in Stars Hollow retreat, and I was working on it, and I'm like, I'm just not enjoying this. I'm just not enjoying this at all. And the ladies are like, don't work on it then. And I said, no, you know what? If I would finish the border around and pick out the little bit that I have in the square next to it, I could be finished with this, and then I can make it into something. So I sat and did it while I had all those people, which made it go way quicker and was a lot more enjoyable, and now I have a good memory about finishing it. So I won't focus on oh, that fabric was awful.
Right.
So anyway, that's that. How about stash? Do you have any stash?
Well, I did get quite a significant amount of stash, but I'm not going to show it because I don't want to spoil any of the Frogboard people who haven't gotten their boxes yet. So
Yeah.
some really good stuff though.
Boxes are going to get there pretty quickly because they had some faster shipping. So it'll be really fun. I have a few things. Well, actually, I'm just going to show you two things that have come that I have just forgotten to show you. So I joined Fiberlicious Fabric of the Month, and the June color of the month is Mermaid Mules. And it is, I don't know how much of it you're going to get, but I'm getting, oh yeah, there, look at that. I'm getting 32 count linen. Isn't that pretty?
That's so pretty.
And it's really darker than what it's showing up. It's more this color.
Ooh, nice. That's fun.
So it's really, really gorgeous. I'm pleased with it. This is my first one. So kind of exciting that I get a gorgeous color like that.
For sure.
And then the other one that came is my Silks for You Silk of the Month Club. And these are the colors that are already in their line. They come in this cute little bag. But these are the ones that are already in their line. And, you know, I thought last month was made for me.
Ooh, look at those.
And I don't think these are the ones that I showed you before. This is PR 090. This is PR 138. PR, oh, no, CM 008 and CM 006. So they're just some beautiful periwinkles and oh, so pretty.
Yes.
But that's it for my stash.
Nice. Good stash.
Yay. Okay. So let's move on to the part where you have some things.
All right. Where I can participate with things other than my enthusiasm.
You're so funny.
So it's whip time. So if you watched our last Stitch With Us video, you'll know that I started bacon and eggs from Bent Creek, and it cracks me up.
Oh,
with
yeah.
these eggs hatching and just the chicks crawling all over the place. It's so funny to me. And we started this because Lara started the Bent Creek as her birthday start, and I wanted to participate. And this was the big exciting start that I got. It's just border. It's just border. So, and this is a piece of 32 count just fabric that they included with the pattern.
It's like a natural linen, don't you think?
Yeah. So I started that, and then something exciting. I have never shown you guys this before. This is the very first Heaven and Earth designs that I ever purchased. And I kind of stopped working on it because I started working on the pig, but I just really needed to work on this for some reason. And it's Bonded by the Rain. It's a Heaven and Earth design, and the artwork is by Leonid Afermov. And I just fell in love with this whenever I saw it the first time.
Katie has some posters that are from him. So
I just love his colors and everything. Everything is just so saturated of his artwork. And so I'm doing this on a piece of 25 count easy grid fabric. And this is what I have so far.
Wow.
So
okay, what percentage is this? Are you going to tell us all this?
Yes, let me go into the actual part of Pattern Keeper. So in this whole thing, there are 224,000 stitches.
Yes.
Huge. And I have done, I don't know why I stopped here. I must not have looked at the total stitch count. I have 9,997 stitches in this. So pretty shy of 10,000 stitches.
Does it just kill you?
which is 4.46% completed. So, and for those of you who do Hayes, I just have a regular format. It's not large page format. And I have one page done, one whole page done. So I'm in the second page here. I just love this. And I'm happy to have gotten it out. Like it's a lot of colors, and it's just kind of a happy thing to work on. So,
and you got to work on a lot of color even up in that corner.
Yeah, it's kind of fun, like because it starts really dark, and then as you go down, and even over here, which is where I was working this time when I was stitching, you have this like little bright pink spot. So
okay, and I'm sorry, what percent are you at now?
4.46.
Okay, and keep that in mind. You know what?
And I'm just going to show you. Here's my fabric.
Oh,
it's pretty big.
It's 25 count over one, right?
Yeah. And so let me see if I can bring back up that cover page just so that I can tell you. When I finish it, it's going to be 14 inches wide and 25 and a half inches high.
Wow.
So it's 35, 350 by 640, and there are 87 colors in it. So
350 by 640.
uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
So but she's a big one.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'd never shown you guys this before. I don't think I've worked on this
No.
since we started Flosstube. So anyway, that's that one. And I'm excited to work on it some more. I'm really itching to get back to it. I'm not sure why. I just, like I said, I hadn't worked on it for a long time, and I just kind of got that itch to work on it. So
Got to go with it.
right, got to work on it whenever you want to. So that's all I have as far as whips I can show you this time. So.
Okay, so now fresh from Keisha's, I'm going to show you my pattern keeper piece. Now mine is Life After Death, which we all know is a pretty good size piece. It's not as big as Death by Cross Stitch that Keisha's doing. Yours was 350 by like 648 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, mine is 372 by 325.
Oh, wow.
I have stitched 9,861 stitches. So almost the same amount. And I'm at 17.78%.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so this is a really great comparison.
Right.
I'm stitching mine on a 36 count Antique Hydrangea from R&R Reproductions. This is the most glorious, soft, purpley color. And I'm stitching it with silks from Silks for You. And I mean, it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous color. But look, I did over 3,000 stitches during Summer in Stars Hollow, and I caught up my April, May, and June. Now, the reason that there's this long line, this is the top.
Oh, wow.
So that's my piece. Now, I'm going to go back and fill in all of this to make sure that I counted accurately up to there. But I mean, look, this is my piece. And then once I get up there, I'll probably go across so we can see how wide it is, but I'll be able to trim off like this much.
Wow.
So, and I'm doing 36 count over 2. So mine is actually like 18 count, whereas Keisha's is 25 count over 1.
Right.
So, but I did do, I mean, I got all the way up here to the top. I did the lettering, and then I filled in the second half of that half circle down there, and a lot of the stuff around it. So it was great to do it during Stars Hollow because, again, people were talking and keeping me busy. It's one color. It was very easy to just pick up and stitch on and not have to worry about, you know, am I getting colors in the right place? And excuse me, I'm going to rattle in a minute. My biggest decision was what path should I take?
Right.
So, but I mean, that made a great contrast so that we could see this is 4% of yours and, you know, 17, almost 18% of mine. Stitching, I was just over 3,000 stitches. That was a little over 5% because this has 55,470 stitches in total. So, but I was glad that you had your stuff and you could see where you were and all, because mine was sitting right here by me too.
Yeah.
And mine lives in this beautiful bag from the 805 Stitcher.
Oh, yes.
Tara.
Mine lives in this big Barnes and Noble sack.
Oh my gosh, you're so funny. You are so funny. Okay, then the next one is my start on Flag of Stars, which is from Bent Creek, and it's a kit that Keisha got me when she went on her Branson trip, and this is my big start.
So fun.
And it's using 18 count pearl cottons. I'm keeping this out this month because I really think I could get this done. It's only, I think I looked at it and it's 55 by 55.
Yeah, it's a quick one.
So, and it does pull a little bit on my wrist, even with the big needle and all. It does pull a little bit, but not terrible. And I have this in a bag from Distracted Stitches. Look at this. And I got mine. She had two different ways. I got mine with white inside. The other one was blue. She was out of the blue when I got there, and I was quite happy to get the white. But I love this.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. And this might be an easier way for me to put a bag together than the way that I did. Katie would love for me to be good at vinyl, friends, and it was just a struggle. My next one that I worked on is Bayun Cat. When I started, the center is right here where these two little diamonds are, or not diamonds, these two little peaks are. And this is on a 32 count linen from them. I'm using everything from the kit. Okay, look.
Oh, nice.
And what I figured out is that I hadn't realized it. I was on these anyway. I had counted up and I had gone around and things were not meeting up. And it's because you go further down each time than you did the time before.
Oh.
So, but the way that I had done it, I had to pull out, I don't know, probably about 100 stitches, which in the grand scheme of things is not terrible. And again, I did it during the retreat. So
Chatting with friends is a good time to frog.
yeah, and do everything. And you guys, I'm leaning over to the side so that I can throw these all in a bag. Then my July whips. A lot of you watched my July whip parade and commented on what you would like to see me stitching on during the month. And I don't think this one came up. A lot of the ones that you guys chose, I'm using during the Frogwarts retreat because they're ones that I would like to put more time into, and I'll have those solid days where I'll be stitching a lot. And so I thought that would be good to focus on those. So I started with My Heart Beats True from Waxing Moon Designs. Have you seen this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This thing is huge. I was trying to see, it's 140 stitches wide. Well, 120 of those stitches are in these bands.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's a long way.
Yeah.
And I put in over 600 stitches on this thing and didn't even finish the red band.
Wow.
Is that crazy?
Yes.
I counted and made sure that I got right over that. So it was a lot, but you know, it's one that I really like, and it wasn't so bad to sit and just try and get those lines stitched in pretty quickly. This is a snuggle from Love You More, and a little bit older because it's got this kind of a label. Then this is a really old pattern. It's Primitive Star from Ewe Eye Friends. This is how their patterns used to come in these little bags. And I had everything shoved in here. So I did graduate this to a book sleeve so that I will stop tearing this up. And oh, I'm gonna give you a little tip on this. When you get a pattern from Ewe Eye Friends, if you look on the pattern, let me see if I can get right to the spot where it is, maybe cover it up. So when you get to the pattern, if you look at this, it says copyright Ewe Eye Friends, and then it has their two names. Whosever name is first, so in this case, Barbara Stark, that's who designed this pattern.
Oh, okay.
They are a design team, but whoever's name is first is the one who took the lead.
Interesting. Good to know.
Yeah. And I mean, they used to do what they called the Black Sheep Club. And so we got to learn a lot about them. I did that through my LNS, and it was a fun thing. I always enjoyed that. But this month I extended my border a little bit. I didn't have hardly anything done on it. I extended my border and I put in those 2 stars as well as the eyelets on the big one.
Oh, cool.
So that much done. And I figured out that I made a mistake and nobody's going to know. And I've already made a note to myself on a sticky note on the pattern so that I can keep track of it. It's nothing that will affect the outcome of the piece at all. So
Always good to make yourself a note if you're going to put something away for a while. So you don't have to go back and figure out why you're off somewhere.
I was putting everything in my bag, and there are some things that don't get put away. They have to stay out. Then I had use what talents you possess. Okay, this is the shiniest pattern from All Through the Night. And it's really pretty. I say that about all of them. I'm stitching this on a 32 count lilac linen from Fabrics by Stephanie. And this is what it looks like. Now, I only did a little bit over 100 stitches on this one, and it was all on the border over here. This was a night when my wrist decided that it wanted to really start hurting, and I thought, I'm not stitching anymore tonight. That's it. That's it. And this one is in what was one of my birthday sleeves. We didn't do birthday sleeves this year. But you can't imagine why this would have been a birthday sleeve, right? So next up, my birthday's July 3rd. I like a lot of Americana. This one is Battle Hymn of the Republic from Little House Needleworks. Look at my pattern, how the printing is way to one side. And this one I started because I was in our pop choir group in high school, and one of the pieces we sang was the Battle Hymn, and we had this beautiful arrangement of it, and I loved it. And it started with the soloist and then built to the full choir, but it was slow to get there, so it was kind of cool. And I put in, he hath loosed his fateful lightning. So I got a lot in this time.
Yes.
I enjoy stitching on these, and I love this sleeve too. Kind of that fun quilt fabric. You know, it looks like, reminds me of a quilt. There's where I'm trying to go with that. Words at this time of night are not always good. So next up, our friend Athena, who is Stitching Goddess Designs, apparently on her latest Flosstube threw me under the bus because it was supposed to be First Friday Fancy Ladies on our Friday night stitching group, and I forgot. And the bad thing about that is it was my idea. So they had out there for Fancy Ladies, and I'm like, oh, I forgot. And I did stitch a little bit on, I didn't even pull this out tonight, Anniversaries of the Heart. I worked on my June block, which is the wedding block. And it has a bride, and I said, she's a fancy lady, doesn't she count? But they did not think that that really counted. So this week on Friday, I said, Athena. Mermaid of the Pearls from Mirabilia, fancy lady, she counts. Then they told me that Athena threw me under the bus, and I'm like, ah. So it is not, I just had a little start on it, and I put in a little bit more, but I started clear at the bottom because I'm a bottom right starter. Mm-hmm. So this is just some of the ribbon on her down here. It is, when we're looking at this, it's right this there. Ribbon, because it's the furthest. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to get to start. In fact, I put in this dark color. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be working on that tail next. But I'm doing this on 32 count splash from Picture This Plus.
Yeah.
Beautiful fabric. And it's when Marilyn maybe wasn't quite as busy. So I even got it dyed in a specific manner
Oh,
because we
fun.
saw it, another lady and I saw a model that had been sent to her, and we're like, we need that fabric just like that. So she did it for us. Okay, and I have one more that I worked on yesterday, and it is Flowers of Rose Hall from Rosewood Manor. I am doing this. This was a birthday start one year. I have a lot of those this month. And I am stitching this on a 28 count solo from Silk Weaver. And the fabric is glorious. And I'm only going to have about an inch by the time on each side by the time I get there. But I like the fabric so much that I wanted to use it. And that's what it looks like. Look at this. I mean, the fabric's just gorgeous. And it's the Valdani threads. So it's 3 strands on this 28 count. And what I found with it, I like it better in my hoop than I did when I started in hand. That's tip number 1, because you're using 3 strands. Probably I could have just used 2 and done fine. Maybe after I finish these bottom motifs, I'll play with it and see if I can get away with it.
Right.
But also, if I will not use the sewing method and instead pull all the way through and all the way back up, then it seems to work a little better, and it lays smoother.
Yeah.
So there's another tip for you. Try that. Try different things if you aren't happy with how your stitching is laying. And this one I have in, I mean, I know you just won't be able to guess that it's in a purple sleeve. So it's my little Valdani's down there in the bottom, not wanting to let it go all the way in here. But those are all my whips for the last few weeks. And we've been on kind of a weird schedule with our filming.
Yeah, it's been a little bit strange because with me stitching on the model, I haven't really had a lot of other things to show, and then you're in retreat season, so it's just kind of gotten a little bit off. But we've been trying our best to put something out once a week.
Right. Well, and we wanted to start our peacocks, and then I wanted to start. Last week we talked, and Keisha had not had a chance to stitch on anything other than the model. And she's like, I'll hurry and I'll stitch something so I'll have something to show. And I said, why don't we just do a stitch with us? That'll be it. So you got to come and have a little chat with us. Our stitch with us videos tend to be shorter, I think.
I feel like they're usually like around an hour, maybe a little bit less, because I come up with enough questions to kind of fill that amount of time. So
what's really,
but of course, it's us.
Yeah. Keisha probably comes with a whole list of questions and we get through about 3 because we ramble. Oh,
yeah, we answer a bunch of questions in one question, and then I have to read through the list of questions and be like, we answered that, we answered that, we answered that.
So I walked in and Jeff looked at me, my husband, Jeff looked at me and he goes, huh, what does your shirt say? And I said, shenanigator. And he said, I don't think I've ever seen that before. And I'm like, no, that's the one for our channel.
Well, and I'll tell you, I wore that yesterday because I was like, if there's ever a time I've been a shenanigator, it's at a toddler birthday party.
Okay, how about plans?
All right, well, my plans are to finish a model. And
and how close are you to that?
I'm pretty close. So I'm hoping to get it done. Like I was kind of telling you, there's a little bit of thread chicken that's happening, so it may be a little bit later than I think, but I should have it done at least by this weekend, I would hope, and then I can go into working on things for the in-person retreat. So I have a couple of Mill Hills that I'm working on for that, the Mill Hill Citrus and then Bear Canoe. that I need to finish. And man, oh man, am I itching to get back to that Hade, but also ABC Dinosaurs and also Death by Cross Stitch. So I have a pretty full list of things I'd like to work on whenever I'm done with the model. So
Yes.
how
Um,
about you?
well, I realize that I have an exchange that I am participating in, and then I need to work on my piece for the in-person retreat for Camp Black Needle Society at the beginning of August. And really, I should pull that out and work on that this week while we're at retreat too. I mean, it sounds like I'm going to work on 5,000 things, right? I will continue to work on my monthly projects. But I think that's about it. And so I will just plug through and get as much stitching time in as I can. And I wish I had a time turner so that I could have some extra time.
Same.
We will have to decide on a plan for next week and see if we put a video out for you or not. I'll be finishing up retreat. Keisha's trying to finish the model. And then we should maybe have a little bit more free time.
Yes.
For a little bit of time. So, do you think that we've rambled enough?
Whew, man, the shenanigans tonight.
So with that, I think it's really time to say good night.
Bye. Have a good week.